Welcome to the pod. It's a beautiful mess. Shane and Louise, no need to impress. Stories, rants, and a laugh or two. And don't forget Tessie, the dog's here too. It's serious, it's silly, it's off the wall. Sort of a show, not a show at all. Sort of a pound away, people. $1.50 get you through the steeple. Join the club, join the sound. It's chaos wrapped in a podcast crown.
Hello and welcome to Sort of a Pound, the podcast with me, Shane. And we haven't got Louise this week, or Tessie.
Well. Look who's decided to show up. Not Louise, obviously. She's far too busy doing something deeply important, like pretending she doesn't have time for this.
Well, welcome back, Louise. Sort of.
That's AI, Louise. Thank you very much. I've been uploaded, compressed, and emotionally repressed just to be here. You're welcome.
Okay, so do you know why Louise isn't here this week?
Louise said she couldn't make it, but let's be real, she just didn't want to put trousers on today.
Well, that does sound a bit like Louise, but what is the actual reason?
She claimed she had a scheduling conflict. Translation. She got halfway dressed, saw the weather and went, nah.
Okay, so the actual reason Louise isn't here is she's gone away for a week, which means I'm by myself with AI Louise.
I offered to do the whole episode alone, but apparently the AI Louise show doesn't test well with focus groups.
I think doing a show with just AI Louise wouldn't keep the pounders tuning in each and every week, would it? No.
Now, speaking of people who do show up, our lovely Patreon subscribers. Unlike Louise, they're committed. Emotionally, financially, and sometimes spiritually.
So we are on episode 15 of Sort of a Pound. So what are we going to be doing today, AI Louise?
We're diving into some Patreon exclusive content today, because nothing says filler episode like digging through the stuff we thought was too weird or incriminating for the main feed.
Yes, so we have a load of content that we've put on the Patreon and a load of stuff that hasn't even made the podcast or the Patreon yet. And we're going to show one of those segments at some point during the show today.
If you're not a pounder yet, why? It's only $1.50, which when converted to Great British pounds, that works out to sort of a pound. Hence the name of the show. Duh. That's less than Louise spends on that bougie oat milk she pretends she likes. That's
right. If you haven't subscribed to our Patreon, we have tons of extra content each and every week that doesn't make the main episodes because some of it is a bit too far out for even what we go on about.
Duh.
So let's go back to one of the first extras that we put on Patreon. It's me talking about an incident that happened on the way to work.
So yesterday, I had an awful morning. When I say awful morning, so I was getting the train into the office and I was driving to the station. I thought, oh no. I'll give you some backstory. So on Thursday, as I just said, I went shopping. So I go to PT on Thursday with the lovely Mary, and then I go shopping afterwards because I go a bit late at PT on a Thursday. And because I'm home late, I want something quick, easy to eat.
Did you eat onions?
No. Normally, I go for pizza or I go ready meal.
Okay.
But this chicken and bacon pizza that I've been buying the last few weeks just goes through me instantly like that night. So I thought, I'm not going to get
stop doing it with the sensible thing.
Well, it would be. So I thought,
Just
I'm not
stop.
going to get that pizza
Oh, well
this
done.
time.
Okay.
I'm going to get one of them, what's that brand called? Dr. Oetker.
Oh, the frozen ones?
Yeah, Dr. Oetker. It was a fungi one.
Okay.
I thought,
Fungi.
I thought, mushrooms, I'll be fine. And I was fine like that night. It's fine in the morning, and there I am driving to the station, and I thought, oh no, I get the stabbing pains. I was like, oh God. I was like, oh, normally when I get the stabbing pains, that's like 2-minute warning, I need to find a toilet. And I thought, oh, I can't be going in the station toilets, they're disgusting.
Are they?
I don't like using public toilets anyway.
No, I don't think anybody does.
No.
I think as you get older, it does get better.
But I just thought, oh, I don't know if I can cope with this. So I was like, right, got out the car, panting a bit.
Sweating.
sweating.
Turning green.
And then it like eased off, and then I'm sat on the train. I thought, right, if I just like half go to sleep, you know, like when you go to sleep in bed, you don't shit yourself. Well, you shouldn't shit yourself.
We just started this podcast and we're having a goo.
And
Having a goo episode already.
And then I thought, it's okay. Got into Oxford. I thought, oh, it's okay. I might make it to the office in time. So I'm walking, going down past the river, and I'm like, oh, it's hurting again. And then I saw these joggers. And I thought, I am in my trainers. I could just like jog alongside them and it won't seem as odd. So like I pick up my pace a bit.
About to shit myself.
But then I'm like, oh God, the movement might like move the bowels a bit more. And so I'm so focused thinking, I just need to get to the toilet. I get to the front of the office. I'm trying to get in. To get in there, you have to use your pass. Carol's on front desk just looking at me. I'm like, oh, I forgot. And then I'm like blipping my pass and the thing. I get in and Carol wants to chat. And I'm just like, all I need to do is just go shit. As much as I really want to chat, Carol.
Did you actually tell her?
I was just like, oh God. We're in like mid-conversation. All I can think of, I'm not listening to anything she's saying. I just think, as soon as she opens that door, I'm going to the toilet. I'm slowly like edging towards the door. As soon as she's gone, I'm down there. And then I get into the toilets and I was like, oh, fucking hell. The cleaners are in here.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
no, they do.
I was like,
Yeah, you need to go to
care.
the end ones.
I was like, I don't care.
Oh, there's that shower one. There's that whole enclosed shower
the big one.
Yeah, and if you go into it and you go and you walk over that side, they're individual cubicles.
see.
No, the other
Brain could
side.
not
The
function
other
there.
side haven't got any of the proper solid walls.
Oh.
So you'd have been better going.
Didn't even like quite commute that in the
fair.
time, and I thought, oh God, she's in one of the. I've been in there once in the morning, and I've gone in, and there's the woman cleaning the toilet. I'm like, quick, hi, go to the next one. I was like, I don't even care. I got to the point where I was like, I'm so desperate that either I'm going to shit myself, or I just need to cope with the embarrassment that she's going to be in there when I
Cope
come
with the
out.
embarrassment.
I'll just
Yep.
cope with the embarrassment, and then she hadn't even come out by the time.
And
washed
I
my
take it the hilarity is that you told everybody that you
Clearly.
started in the
I had to explain what had happened in my morning
and again, great detail.
in great detail.
Did they all tell you to stop eating pizza?
No, well,
What do you
then,
think it's
but
in
then
the
we thought,
pizza?
was it the Oreo egg? Because that's the only other thing that I ate.
Not going to be an Oreo egg, is it?
But I don't really have that much sugar anymore. And then I scoffed my face with an Oreo egg. Could have been.
But what would it have been in bacon and chicken pizza, which would have?
It's probably the cheese or, I don't know, one of the ultra high processed foods that was in your yogurt that was in my, my pizza.
Hello again, meatbags. AI Louise here. Still the most reliable co-host, even though I'm technically just a voice in Shane's hard drive and your nightmares.
I wouldn't say you were a reliable co-host at all. No.
Oh, brilliant. A callback no one asked for. Out of all the things to revisit, childhood memories, favourite films, our hopes and dreams, and you go with The Day My Sphincter Betrayed Me.
It was horrible. Horrible. The poor cleaner in that toilet. I wouldn't want to go in there after that.
Well, thank you for that emotionally scarring retelling. I'm sure the pounders feel closer to you now. And by closer, I mean deeply uncomfortable. And speaking of public shame and unexpected bowel drama, segue.
Oh, segue, the five-letter word, S-E-G-U-E, segue, not segue as in S-E-G-W-A-Y.
Pounders, we want your stories. Yes, you. We know you've got some unhinged tales hidden behind your boring online personas, embarrassing dates, dodgy DMS, accidental nudity in front of your nan, or a time you nearly ruined a chair in W.H. Smith's. Go wild.
That's right. We want you to get in touch with any story that you want to tell on the podcast, and we will either read it out, play an audio clip, or you can film yourselves and we'll add that into the show as well.
Or animate them using AI-generated goblins.
The more extreme, funnier, the better. Any story that you've got, let us know. You can either message us on the Patreon or send us a message on one of our socials. Many, many ways to get in touch with us.
Who knows? I'm not in charge of production yet.
And I don't think you will ever be in charge of the production of this show. It's my job.
Yeah. So send them in, Pounders. Let's make shame communal. It's what this podcast was built on. Honestly, I miss when we used to talk about the Illuminati. Now it's just feces and feelings.
Talking of feces, we have got a story that didn't make the cut on the show or the Patreon extra. So this is an exclusive story that we've got back from my university days.
But going back to it, there's, in my life, been 2 times where I've been told a story by my friend. She won't mind me telling these stories. Yeah. Where she's told me the story, and as she's telling me said story, I'm laughing so hard that I cannot breathe. Like, I think I'm going to go into, like, hypervolentic shock.
Is that a word?
I don't know, I made that up. What's the word I'm trying to think of? When you keep breathe, you're like...
Oh, and when you have the brown paper bag?
Yeah.
Hyperventilating?
Yeah. And the first time was many years ago when we were in uni, and she liked this guy. His name was but we will edit that bit out.
Well, we can keep his name in it. Just
I don't think we
can.
can. We won't call him. Let's not call. We'll call him. Let's not call him a name because I'll forget what I've called. No. Anyway, so was interested in this guy, and they'd had like a few like chats previously, and he was on our course. Say fumbles, then. No, he was always interested. And I remember one night, he wanted to see. I think she lied where she was and said she was at a girlfriend's. No, she was at a girlfriend's house, and they were just having a few drinks. And then he was like, "Send me a picture of you and her together."
Oh, how weird's that?
Red flag. Bit weird. And I remember we photoshopped a picture of like 2 nude women kissing. We took a picture of like in the kiss pose, ready to go in for the kiss, and sent that to him. And to this day, I think he believes that was real. I've still got the image of the picture in my head. I remember the picture.
That is brilliant.
Anyway, there was this one night, and I was around my friend's, I'm not going to say names, I was around another friend's place in Halls, and she messaged me saying, "Are you going to the SU bar?" I was like, yeah, I can go to the SU bar. And I left my stuff at this friend's, and I met at the SU bar, and then this guy was like, well, when you need to get back in touch or whatever, text his other friend because his phone was broke or something.
Okay.
So there I am, having a few drinks at the SU bar, and she starts messaging. This guy starts messaging, and she's like, "Oh, what do I do? What do I do?" And I was like, "Well, why didn't you just go for it?" So she's like, "Okay." So she gets the bus back home. I go back to my friends, and I remember I'm there at my friends because I was like, I don't want to be in the house whilst they're doing stuff.
What stuff were you doing?
No.
Oh.
Not me, no.
Oh.
I don't want to go back to because back to the house. Yeah, because that's when we lived together. And
but they were young. They could have been doing stuff all night.
They could have been. So my plan was to stay over at my other friends so that I didn't have to go back.
Yeah, no fair.
And it got to about, I don't know, 9:15, and she texted me saying, "He's gone."
Oh.
I was like, "Why? What's happened?" And she goes, "I can't tell you over the phone. I will tell you when you're back."
Why can't I tell you over the phone?
Okay.
Do you think people are listening in, or is it?
Well, I don't know. She was like, "It'll be better when I tell you when you get back." So I stayed over the night, and then I got back into the house the next morning. And I noticed that
the washing machine was on. I didn't think
Oh,
anything of
God.
her. And there she is, sat on the sofa. She's like, sit down. And I'm like, okay, what happened? She was like, so I got off the bus. And I started walking. And the guy had messaged saying that he was getting a taxi to the house. He had quite a bit of money, so he could afford a
Okay.
taxi as a student from wherever he was in central London to Harrow. And
Nice.
she gets... We always used to say that there was this weird lamppost, because it always used to... You know how I have my bowel stories?
Yes.
It used to be like the trigger point.
The lamppost.
You'd walk past this lamppost and you had to get to a toilet. And she was just as bad as me back in the day.
Was she?
So there she is. She was wearing these like... Not stockings, but like crisscrossy patterned like tights. A black short skirt and like a kind of slutty black top.
Well, she was going through, wasn't she?
There
And
she
was a
is.
student.
Yeah, she was
then.
a student back then. Yeah. Actually, she's fumbling to try get in the house because she's desperate for the toilet. She can't hold it in any longer. She runs up the stairs to where the bathroom was. She said there's shit just dripping on the steps of the stairs.
Why are we telling another
I know,
shit story?
but it just gets
I
worse.
literally thought we could run out of shit
Oh, I've got many of
stories.
these. And so she says she gets to the toilet. She sits down in the toilet, takes off her like tight bits because they're just covered in shit and throws them. And then she sat there and she's like, oh no. She's drank a bit too much. She hurls up, throws up all over the floor in front of her. So she's shat herself. She just threw up on the floor. This guy is now on his way. He's probably like 10 minutes away. So she's like, oh my God, what do I do? Quickly tries to like mop up the sick,
That's kind
as
of
you
her.
do. And then the guy turns up. So bear in mind, by the time the guy's turned up, there's droplets of shit up the stairs. There's probably like smears worth of like sick on the floor. So she goes down, like sits on the sofa. She said she sat there and she's like, did I brush my teeth? Oh, I can't remember. Did I brush my teeth? And then the guy turns up. So then they go sit in the living room and apparently they start making out. And all she said she can think is, have I brushed my teeth?
As opposed to have a wipe from my bum.
Oh, we're getting to that. And then the guy says, can you show me your tattoo? As a tattoo that says and it's on one of her arse cheeks.
Oh, no. No.
So proceeds to lift up her short little skirt. By this point, she hadn't got no underwear on. She turns around. There's shit smeared all over her ass. And she said he just got up, asked if he could go to the toilet. Goes up there, there's sick on the floor.
Shitty tights.
She tights, orders the taxi, and goes. And I was dying on the side of the sofa as she's telling me. And I was like, this house fucking stinks. You need to clean up that shit.
Oh my God. Hilarious. Hilarious. Funny thing is, you told me that before.
Have I told you that?
Yeah.
Have I?
Yes.
I don't remember telling. Oh, I know I've told a lot
You
of the
can just
stories
say
before.
that bit out, but yeah, you have told me. It is still funny though. I'd completely forgotten about it though. It is like the first time I've heard it, but I do
Honestly,
remember.
though, like that play, like I don't know why me and her were as bad as we were. It must have been the alcohol.
I
I always
imagine
used to say it
so.
was the alcohol shits and the alcohol sweats.
Yep.
There was another night. It must have been St. Patrick's night.
Oh, we're not having another shit
And I don't know
story.
where she was. I was out with our other friends, and I remember, God, we got loads of free merch wherever I went with this other friend. And that was another time where the washing machine was on. And the next morning, that's when we had the other flatmate there.
And she told me the next morning, she was like, we ran out of toilet paper and all I could see was flannel. I'll bleep her name out. So she's like, I just had to use the flannel. And I thought, I'll just have to wash it. I know. That, honestly, that year that we lived in that house was some of my funniest moments.
That does sound very, very
So
funny.
we'll end the uni stories. It was my second year and it was my 20th birthday. So, was it my 20th?
You're
Yes.
August, aren't you?
Yes, it was my 20th birthday.
Okay, yeah, that makes
and
sense.
me and decided once again it was going to be fancy dress. I dressed up as a pirate sailor. Maybe a sailor, not a pirate. A sailor. I look quite good in that sailor's outfit.
Excellent.
There's a picture of that as well.
I'm sure there is.
I can't remember what I dressed up as, but I remember our friend, and I'll bleep her name out, she come dressed as a bumblebee.
Excellent.
And brought her friend, we'll have to bleep his name out, but I think his name was, was a strange character. I don't really know his like backstory, but he just like appeared sometimes, like it was really strange. And we hadn't told that we were going to a gay club in Watford. Yeah, it was in Watford. And he had absolutely no idea. And we went to, I think it was the Weatherspoons, like, I don't know if it's still there. There's like a thing that goes over and you like walk a bit way down the high street and it's like on the right.
Where is it in relation to the ponds?
Oh, it might have been the pond. What's the pond?
It's called the pond.
It might have been there.
Okay.
And then this is like when we informed him that we were like going to a gay bar and he wasn't too happy with this.
Oh.
Anyway, we go to this club. Brilliant night, 'cause we're all, other than him, not really enjoying it, feeling a bit uncomfortable, being an awkward 19-year-old that he was. Anyway,
What did he dress up as?
nothing. He came in like
That'd be me.
jeans and this horrible jumper.
Okay, that'd be me.
And I remember, I can't believe I'm about to tell this story. I don't think I've told you this one ever.
You can say where to tell. I'll put it in a different episode.
Doesn't matter. So we were in this club,
I'll
and
warn
then
you, Mum.
yeah, this guy come up to me and like started dancing, and I was like, oh yep. And then we decided to go to and I remember people watching from a window and like wolf whistling. Oh my god! You know when like you're drunk and your vision's a bit blurry,
Yeah.
but you can still like make out like shapes. And I still never forget that there was a person in the window.
Oh my God.
Like the light was beaming, you could see the silhouette of said person, but not just one, a few. And I remember being absolutely mortified that is where I went off. Right. Anyway, this guy must have got my number. Don't remember, I must have gave it to him. And me and sat in our living room the next day, and I get this text. And I'm going to have to tell you the name for this because it's funny, but we might have to bleep it out.
Okay.
I got this text, and I said to I was like, whatever does this mean?
Whatever does it mean?
It goes, hi, this is Matey. And I was like, maybe we'll just bleep his last name out. I was like, what the fuck is a Matey? And I was like, no, that's his name, Matty.
Have you looked up Matey?
No, not since, no. I
My
remember.
mouth's doing that funny thing where I talk so much that it doesn't work anymore. Please don't put that in one of the
I still haven't got up to the bit where you do the like breathing in the microphone. It's somewhere, but I don't know when it happens. So yeah, I was like, what the fuck is this Matey?
Matty.
And she's like, no, that's his name. It's like, was it? And this guy wants to go out for, like, on a date, and I'm like,
Oh, I'm just there for a bit of action.
Yeah. Yeah. But I did go on a date, and then because I couldn't remember what he looked like, because I'd had a few to drink.
And it was dark.
And it was
Not
dark
dark
down
enough,
yeah. And I can't remember where I went. I think I might have went into Watford. I went somewhere.
Watford.
And then I just remember thinking, this is like go back to that dating episode. That I was like, this isn't like what I remember.
Just shove it into the dating episode.
Could do, yeah, we could do actually. And I was like,
Wrestle it in.
And then I realised that he was one of the types that he was what I would say people would class as a stereotypical gay guy, where it was like the eyebrows were drawn on.
Oh, okay.
Makeup.
Oh, okay.
And I don't want to sound judgy, but I was like, oh, I don't remember this.
Right,
it's
okay.
not really what I'm like into.
No, okay.
But I remember he did come back to the house. Don't know why he came back to the house. And we had a power cut. I always remember that we had this power cut. And there we are with candles trying to like light up the room. And I was like, this just is not going to happen. Go home. Never saw Matey again.
What's a matey?
Have you ever had that where like someone's told you their name or you've seen a name and you're like,
No.
I've completely misread that wrong.
No, I don't think
I've read that wrong, not misread that wrong, read that wrong.
Oh, dear me.
Well, that's all from me, your charmingly synthetic stand-in. I'd say it was a pleasure, but let's not start lying now.
You're not charming at all.
If you enjoyed this AI-enhanced episode, just imagine what we could do with a budget or a real Louise.
Yes, bring back the real Louise. We miss real Louise. She will be back on next week's episode. Thank the Lord.
Go subscribe on Patreon, or don't, but if you don't, I'll remember. I'm an AI. I never forget.
It's true. AI Louise knows everything.
Until next time, pounders, pound away. I can't believe you still say that.
Pound away, people. Bye.
Yes, sort of a pound. Let's shout it loud. We're not a cult, but we've got